The Matchbook Podcast, where one idea sparks the idea of many. Make sure you tune in August 30th, 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on my live ARSIN 215 to hear my new album, Window. Welcome to the Matchbook Podcast, Episode 2, Overcoming Trauma, Part 1 of a 4-part series. Today we're going to be talking about trauma. I have a special guest today. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
How y'all doing? I'm Ty Duckett from West Philly. I'm a left leg above the knee amputee, and via a motorcycle accident about 5 years ago.
Okay. So, I always provide facts about the topic, and the topic today is trauma. So we're going to talk about psychological trauma, the definition. The definition is a response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope, cause feelings of helplessness, diminishes their sense of self, and their ability to feel a full range of emotions and experiences. And there's 3 types of trauma. You have acute trauma, which results from a single incident or accident. A chronic trauma is a repeated and prolonged trauma, for example, domestic violence or abuse. And you have complex trauma, is an exposure to a variety of multiple traumatic events. So they're the 3 types of trauma. So just give the people a little background. Give the people a little background about where you from, how was it growing up for you, just so they can get to know you a little bit.
Gotcha.
You can move up.
Yeah, I mean, we from the same hood. I'm from West Philly. Growing up was growing up, you know what I mean? Like, I went to Roman Catholic right on, Broadvine, down Center City. Went to Lincoln University after that. Studied accounting, became an accountant, became real boring, started sitting behind the desk, not doing much, watching TV. Adults get into the routine of things, you know what I mean? And they moved to Cali maybe like 5 years ago. And before I left, I got into motorcycles. My homie, he came over, he's about to play Madden, and he just pulled up on a bike. I'm like, where you get that from? And told me to go through the safety course and all that, did all that. And got the bike. The thing is, though, is that I was in a different city. Like, I learned how to ride in Philly and then moved to LA. LA's a whole different situation. And I just, anybody riding bikes, just before you get, doing your thing, make sure you know your area, know all that. Because I was riding with my buddies 5 hours that day. Like, and, doing all types of speeds, having fun on the bike. And the accident didn't happen during all that time. It happened when I was 15 minutes from home. I just waved goodbye to them dudes. At 15 minutes from home, I get off the expressway, and I notice there ain't no traffic. And that's always weird in LA. Like, if it ain't no traffic, you're like, what's going on? So I looked around, like, all right, ain't nobody out, cool. So I'm coming up to a red light, so I start slowing down, and then that thing turned green. So that's when you roll that throttle. So I rolled the throttle, and my man is trying to run the yellow / run the red, and then that's when my life changed.
Okay, so what exactly happened in the accident?
It's wild because I was downtown LA, and I'm coming across 8th and Hope Street downtown, and I'm like I said, I come up to that light, so I'm starting to decelerate, then it go green, and I roll that throttle, and I saw this light on the side, on the left hand side.
Nighttime?
Yeah, it was nighttime. It was like 1 a.m.
Okay.
I see that light on the left hand side, but I didn't even have time to look and see what was about to hit me. Like, it was just that fast. It was like a movie. Like when that train's coming, that's how it was. And I didn't even have a chance to look. And then next thing I know, I'm in the ambulance. You know what I mean? And it was weird because you get in a shot and you don't like feel no pain. So I wake up and I'm like, what happened? Like, what's going on? I'm looking at the EMTs, paramedics, and at first they didn't answer me. I'm like, yo, like, why am I in the ambulance right now? Like, it was such a weird vibe. And they looked at each other and they just, like, they looked sad. They just was like, your leg is mangled. And I passed out and woke up in the ICU, surrounded by surgeons, man. Like, it's just, like, people say that I'm lucky that I don't remember what happened, because I can imagine it. Crazy. Like, I got some homies that remember every second of their motorcycle accident. Remember getting drugged down the street. Like, I don't remember none of that. But I started out on 8th and Hope. They found me on 7th and Hope. I was on the other.
Oh, the
always,
speed.
well, I was only going. It was the speed, and then it was the vehicle that hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the speed, a combination of all that. But you know, my bike was in the middle of the street, and then I was all the way down at the other end. Like, and it was wild because this one YouTube channel, they actually captured like the moments and kind of wrote a little blurb about it. Said they heard me, you know, screaming from blocks away, and they came up and just blood everywhere. Like they filmed this, like it's on YouTube. Like it was bananas. So like just imagine you in the ICU, don't know what happened, and then like my coworker sent me the link. She was like, Ty, I think this you. I was like, and it was like legit. You can see the car that hit me. You can see my bike. You can see just blood everywhere. You see the paramedics just wrapping my leg up, putting me into the ambulance. It's just nuts, man. It's
You lost a lot of blood?
Yeah, lost a lot of blood, man. Ruptured my spleen. Ruptured my spleen, bruised my pancreas. It was at one, like when I first got in there, the doctor was telling me everything that was wrong, and when he got to, he was like, you also got a pocket of blood just sitting right in your abdomen, and I felt it. He was like, you feel that little pouch? He was like, it's like the size of a Capri Sun pouch. That's how he explained it. I was like, yeah, like what's that? He's like, that's blood just sitting there. I'm like, what we gonna do? He's like, can't do nothing. You gotta just, everything that's happening internally, you gotta just let it do what it do. He's like, but we're gonna focus on your leg. It's like 5 surgeries to try to save the leg. 3 just to clean it, like, you know, getting the debris out. It was bananas because they never stitched it up because they knew they was gonna keep going back in. So instead of like stitching it, they would literally like wrap it in saran wrap just to keep it together. Like it just looked like a hoagie. It was just like it was nuts, man. And they would just unwrap it and then go back in. But 3 surgeries to try to clean it up, try to see if they could salvage it. On that 3rd surgery, they was like your ligaments, your muscles, and your veins. They're not viable. They're not doing what we need them to do. Because every day they would ask me, can I move my toe? So every day they come in, can you move your toe? Nothing was happening. And that's a weird vibe for you to be like trying to move a body part and it's not working.
Yeah, like your mind is telling your body to move it, and there's no connection.
Nothing was happening, man. But one day that toe flickered. It just flickered. So I had hope. I was like, oh, okay, like I'm rocking. Like this is gonna be all right. Cause like my brother, he got injured, you know, playing football, got hit by a car. So I was growing up, I seen him in crutches. And I'm like, oh, you get on crutches, then you be good. And then, you know what I mean? So that was my thought process. I ain't never seen nobody go through something like this. Like this was a mind trip. You know what I'm saying? But that toe flickered, and I thought, you know, everything was cool. But they just said the ligaments and everything wasn't viable enough. And the fourth surgery was the amputation. And then I had a 5th because it got infected. So thanks.
And the way infection works, you have to pretty much get rid of the infected body part. You know, a lot of people may know that. A lot of people may not know that. If you don't, then it can get in your bloodstream, affect your heart, and kill the whole organism, which in our case is our body. Mm-hmm. So I guess the doctors had to make a decision on your leg or your life.
Exactly.
And did you have any part in that decision?
That's such a good question, and I'm smiling because I do not remember the conversation at all. But my whole family, my fiance, my mom, my dad, they always up there. They said we had a whole conversation with the doctor about like different things to do, like because like so if you below the knee, you still can move that knee joint. You still can have your gait. You can still kind of walk like how you used to walk. Mm-hmm. When it's above the knee, things are a little more dicey, and I'm depending more on the prosthesis. So, as they're running through all these scenarios, like even not amputating, and then, doctor saying you're going to have multiple surgeries if you don't amputate. You're going to have mad pain, chronic pain, you know what I'm saying, if you don't amputate. But I didn't remember this conversation. So my family leaves, 8 o'clock rolls around, the new medical team, you know how they do shifts.
Yeah.
And they came in, and they're like, so, Mr. Duckett, so we're going to be amputating. And I, like, almost fell out the bed, like, what? What are you, amputate? What are you talking about? He's like, I thought we talked to you about, we decided we're going to amputate, and you agreed. I was like, I didn't agree to Can I curse on that? Like, I was like, I didn't agree to shit. Like, y'all not taking up. Like, what is going on? So I was like upset at my family because I was like, y'all just left and y'all ain't tell me this about to happen. My dad's like, Ty, this was just an hour conversation about what we was about to do. We was sitting there holding your hand, talking to you.
You probably was like in and out.
I was in and out, man. So I was steaming. I was upset at the medical team. I was upset at my family till my dad put out his phone and said, "This is us. Like, this is a recording of us talking to the doctor."
I'm glad he did that. I'm glad he did
right,
that.
I was tripping.
So, what? Let's go back to motorcycle riding. What in you interests you about riding motorcycles?
It's funny, that's you asking great questions. At the time, me and my fiance, we was at a point where we were still not necessarily trying to figure each other out, but you know how life happens, and then you kind of be on different pages. You know what I'm saying? And I always say she's so smart, so she always reading ahead of me. But at the time, we was on different pages, and she had said something in passing, like she was bored, like just we was grown, and we had the house, you know what I mean, like we was set up,
so
but you get into this routine.
You wanted to do something different, exciting.
Exactly.
And that's why I asked, because motorcycle riding is not something that for the weary at heart.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So whose decision was it? Was it yours? Like, yo, let's ride motorcycles.
Well, my homie Will, I went to Lincoln University with him. When he pulled up on the bike at the crib, yes sir.
See you. I went to both. I know
okay, look, man, it's all family. No, it's a friendly rivalry. We the oldest, but we ain't gotta split hairs and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, my boy came up, pulled up on the bike, and I just was like, I ain't even think of riding bikes. But my dad rode bikes and my aunt Stacy rode bikes. So it's like I seen it as a young boy, and I got pictures of me sitting on her bike. So maybe the seed was planted way back when. Yeah. But when he pulled up, that's when it kind of went down. And I was like, oh, I like this.
So I'm gonna give a couple facts on motor vehicle accidents so people can understand like the dangers and the statistics behind it. So according to the National Highway Traffic Administration, car accidents and motor vehicle accidents happen every 60 seconds in America.
Crazy.
That equates to about 5.25 million accidents across the country on a yearly basis. So let that sink in. Every 60 seconds, every minute, it's a car accident. And there's a lot of people who still don't wear helmets. There's a lot of people who don't wear seatbelts.
Yep.
Because they always rely on their ability to drive, not understanding that there's so many other factors when you're on the road. The National Safety Council says that in 2019, and data is always a year late, because they have to, this year is not over. So in 2019, an estimated 38,800 people lost their lives in motor vehicle accidents. About 4.4 million people in the United States were seriously enough injured to require medical attention. 4.4 million. So things definitely get real. You definitely got to make sure you protect yourself and stay safe out here. So you gave us a little bit about the accident and what led to it and your experience on the physical side of what happened. And I just want to show your leg to the people. You know what I mean? Make sure you get a, recording.
And this is actually a cover. Like this joint opens up. Like that's a cover, and then that's the leg on the inside.
Oh, okay.
So the cover, that's a company that I rock with, Unique. We actually gonna work together and put some new products together. This is like my first cover. I'm one of the first people that had their cover. I got a newer one, but I'll be rocking out with this one, trying to rock it till the wheels fall off. And then I'm keeping an eye out for their new products. But
and this was above the knee, so you're relying more on this part.
Exactly. And see, this the thing though. So this is like maybe the second. So military grade is like the best prosthetic knee because it's 100% waterproof, and you can go up steps as well as down steps. With this one, it's like maybe the third tier because I can only go down steps. And then this is not waterproof. It's like a 30-minute situation, but the military grade is 100% waterproof. But my doctor had to fight for me to get. He had to fight to get this for me because normally insurance only covers like regular prosthesis, and when I say regular, I mean literally like just a pole that bends. You know what I mean? And they're expecting people to live their life off of that. Like, go from having, this, regular sound leg to literally just like when I say a pole, like that's
Oh yeah,
all it
yeah.
is.
I've seen
You know
some
what I
of
mean?
that. I
So
seen some of that.
so this is official because it got microprocessors in it. It knows where I'm at in space. It allows me to go down steps, meaning that it slows my gait down. Like instead of it just breaking like boom.
Yeah, the
it's-
pressure.
Exactly.
So this episode is part 1 of 4. So we want to know, like, how did you overcome the trauma, physically and psychologically?
I wouldn't say I'm over it.
Okay.
5 years in, I wouldn't say I'm over it. I mean, I feel like I shed some tears about this yesterday. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad you said that, because the reason why I called it overcoming
Yeah.
is because it's a process.
Still a process.
Not overcame, but
Right.
because like you said, with trauma you never really overcome it, because it's always triggers and reminders,
Mhm.
and you know what it's like to live a life before this.
Right.
So
Right.
what was that process like, physically and psychologically, to get to where you are now?
Physically and psychologically, I got to give everything to my family and my support system, medical team, my coworkers. I mean, strangers, just basically everybody that said anything nice, anything concerning, anything loving. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be here because my wife would say I love my wife because she's an optimist, and I like to say I'm a realist, but she'd be like, you be kind of leaning on that pessimist side. But it's like definitely if I was just alone with it,
Yeah.
I was in some dark places, bro. Like I just was in some dark places, man, because it's like I thought my life was over, bro. Like I'm disabled now. Like what I'm gonna do? Like I can't walk. Like I don't gotta like it just trips you all the way out. And it was just my wife, my parents coming up and staying with me for a month. People constantly injecting positivity into my life. Like a little side note, I went to the barbershop after that happened, Sephora's barbershop in LA, and I'm sitting there and I go in and it's all guys in there, it's barbershop, and normally everybody's shooting shit, talking trash, but when they seen this went down, they like, whoa, like when did that happen? It was only like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it was just an outpouring of love from my barber, the other barbers I knew, the strangers that was there. And there was one guy sitting in the seat that had like all these awesome words to say to me, just like, you gonna be all right, you gonna pull through this. And I'm just like, who is, like, I don't even know this boy, but he's just going in, and I appreciate him for it. And then at the end of the conversation, he was like, yo, I rap, you should check me out. I was, I'm like, everybody rap, like, I ain't never heard of him.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm King Los, like check me out.
Mm-hmm.
And couple days
King
later,
Los is one of them bulls.
Oh, official tissue, like
and me being a lyricist, he definitely one of them bulls.
official. I was out the loop. Like I said, I was in that grind of working and just being boring. And then he said, check me out. And I'm sitting there watching TV. Had insomnia one night, and then he pops up on MTV. I'm like, oh, that's the dude.
Wow.
That's the. You want to keep going or?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's good. It's good. So basically, it wasn't so much internally. It was a lot of like the community support and the family support, right?
Definitely. I feel like if I was left to my own devices, I'm not sure what would happen, man. Because I was so angry, depressed, confused. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what was going on, man. And it just took people caring for me. You know what I mean? Like I think of my cousin Ronnie Ron, because he sent me a message on Facebook, and he like, to me that's my tough cousin. You know what I'm saying? And he sent me a message, man, cuz I love you so much. I'm so glad you're still here. Like, and that touched me, and I'll never forget that message. And that's one of many. You know what I'm saying? But it just was an outpouring of love from everybody, and then y'all make me want to keep going. And then Philly make me want to keep going. Like that's just how that's how we cut.
Especially definitely coming from down the bottom. Like I want to know specifically, aside from the external support, a lot of people don't understand how important it is to reach out. When people going through depression, their number one thing is isolation.
Yeah.
So for people that's going through traumatic experiences, it's other people who's going through it. And like for me, being a musician, I go through stuff and I put it in my music
Yeah,
and I
that's
put it
your
in my
therapy.
albums because it's therapy.
Mhm.
Because now you can listen and you can use that music as a soundtrack. So it's important to reach out for help. You know, I always tell people, I use the analogy, if you're hanging from a building and I put my hand out, I did my part. It's your part to grab it. So we, you know, it had to be a part in you to make a decision. Despite with
Yeah,
the inspiration and
facts.
positivity, you know, you still your own man. You still make
Yeah,
your own decisions. You still
definitely.
have your own will. And
Right.
there's a lot of people, unfortunately, who is not alive, despite people reaching out and supporting
Yeah,
them. So,
that's yeah.
what is was it your experience coming up in Philly? Was it other traumatic events? What was your why? What was your reason to say okay? Because you know, I'm gonna show footage of you working out, rehabilitating. That comes from inside. So,
Fact.
what inside of you was the spark? If you could put it in words to say, all right, let's go.
I mean, if I could throw a joke out there, I'm just an asshole. Like it's like
Yeah.
I wouldn't want nobody or no thing to get over on me. So
Yeah.
that's first and foremost. Like I know other people might say, oh, you know, Napoleon complex. He's just, you know,
Yeah.
little fighting little guy. It could be all that. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's definitely Philly. And then without a doubt, I feel like it's the women in my life. My mother, my grandmothers, you know, my wife, my sister, you know, my little niece, my sister-in-laws, like my aunts, they so strong, you know what I'm saying? They're the strongest human beings I ever met. So it's like, I can't even come to auntie being weak with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even something I'm thinking about, though they all gave me the space to let that out and get that out. But it's like, I'm trying to be a reflection of y'all. Like I'm trying to keep that, you know, rocking. So it was a decision, you know what I'm saying? Because you can make other decisions and numb yourself and avoid things and all that, but
Which a lot of people do.
all day, you know what I'm saying? And I'm guilty of that as well. But it's like, you know, I'm resonating with the positivity. I'm resonating with
You
things
made that
like this.
decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. You made a decision to get into that frequency, and that is the power that we all have inside. That is really, you know, we can't put it in words, but it's something that I think every human has to some um, extent. They just have to find a way to tap into it, and that's what this podcast is about. That. So I want you to be able to talk about. No, before we talk about what you're doing now, I just want to let people know, based on this, the Physicians Post Grade Press Incorporated, I want to give some facts. Males who have lower limb amputation caused by traumatic events like motor vehicle accidents and stuff like that, 32 to 84% of them have depression. 10 to 63% of them has post-traumatic stress. Do you have any of those diagnoses?
No, I'm good. It's like no. No, I went yeah, man. I went through some heavy depression, man. Just not being able, you know what I'm saying, or having to relearn things. Like I remember the first time I came home out the hospital, it took me 10 minutes to get in the bed just because of the pain and just because I had to like figure out how to situate myself. And I cried right at the foot of the bed because I'm just, no pun intended, the foot of the bed. But I cried. I'm just like, I can't even get in the fucking bed, bro.
Yeah.
Like I used to run from the living room and jump in that motherfucker like Superman. Now it's like I felt like an old man at 30, bro, and it just tripped me out, man.
But you pulled through, and you know, and I think a lot of people watching this, they may not have your specific situation, but hopefully this type of information, the inspiration, can make people pull through.
Yeah.
Because you know, I know people like you. I know people who, you know, can't move from their neck down, and I always say these people have lost a physical part of them, but their spirit has not done anything but grow.
Mm.
So let's talk about what you're doing. I see you surfing.
Yeah, man.
I see you modeling.
Yeah, man.
So how did that come about to where you got? Because you currently live in Malibu or in that area.
I'm in North Hollywood.
North Hollywood, but you be surfing in Malibu,
Yeah,
right?
I'm all up and down the coast surfing.
So
yeah.
let's talk about some of the accomplishments you made from overcoming them stages of grief to rehabilitating. You know, you was working out. You was rehabilitating your leg. I see you doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
You know, I seen the steps you was first taking when you first started learning how to walk.
Yeah. That's a crazy sentence. Learning how to walk.
Learning how to walk. And then I just seen you go from that to next thing you know, you're on a surfboard. and I got both of my legs and I don't know how to surf.
I get that all the time.
You took it from, listen, I can't ride motorcycles, or I can, you know, but I can do something else that I want to do, adventurous.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, the support system. My wife, so it's crazy because she was looking for all these. It's crazy because she was looking for all of these things like before I even got amputated. Like the accident happened, and she was already looking for what else I can do. I wasn't even there yet. Like I said, she's smart, and she's already a couple steps ahead. So she found this thing. So the unique cover. What I like about it is if I took this bad boy off, you'll see like the pole that I told you about. Yeah. And I hated the way that looked. Like when I'm looking in the mirror and you looking at yourself and you're like this don't look right, in my head. So unique, what they do is they make it symmetrical to your other leg.
Okay, so they make it kind of match.
Exactly. So and then when you're looking in the mirror, you're like, all right, like I can kind of fool my brain to think that things is cool. So she found that. She found surfing. She was like, this boy love his motorcycle. He took it everywhere. He rode it everywhere. So she was like, he needs something that something he can have fun with, and she found this organization called Life Rolls On, and I wear their bracelet every day. I'll never take it off. I got a few of them. Life Rolls On. So that was started by my homie Jesse Billauer. He was going to be a pro surfer, but unfortunately he had a surfing accident and broke his neck, and he's paralyzed, uses a wheelchair. But that didn't stop him. He's a world champion para surfer. So yeah, he's like official, man. He's still surfing, still killing it.
And you killing it too. Like it's not like he's surfing like, oh, he can surf. No, did you win some awards or something?
I got an award from Jesse's organization, inspirational award. I guess people was writing in or hollering at him saying seeing me. It's funny because I sent a picture of me surfing to my homeboy in Philly, Jimmy. And then he writes me back and said, my coworker just showed me this drawing. He don't even know you. He just seen it and he showed it, and I said, that's my man. But so the picture's been circulating, and I guess I've been providing inspiration. People resonating with the story, like you just said. You go from, I just saw this boy learning how to walk. Now he riding a surfboard, and people come up to me on the beach every time and just be like, just what you said. I got 2 legs and I can't do that. And at first I ain't get it, but now that I see how hard surfing is, it's official, and now I see why people is giving me my props on that.
Yeah, you overcame having a new leg and surfing. Mm-hmm. So, before we wrap it up, because this is part 1 of 4-part episode 2 series, do you feel like looking back at the old you before all of this, way back, just coming up down the bottom? Do you feel like before you met your girl, before everything, just when it was kind of you, teenager, to now, do you feel like despite losing a physical part of you, do you feel like you gained a spiritual part of you?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now, if you asked me this a couple years ago, I would have gave you a negative, dark answer. But it's people like you reaching out and letting me know that my story is helping other people. Helping other people is helping me. But I feel like my soul definitely grew because in situations I'm looking at, like this is a horrible situation, but this is the positive. Me sitting down with you is the positive. Yeah. Me surfing, and inspiring others is the positive. So what it's doing is it's helping me, and it's actually forcing me to look for the light in the darkness, what I'm saying? And if I can pass that on to people, whether they going, disabled or just able-bodied, you could just not like your job.
Because it could be emotional.
Absolutely.
And then sometimes it's even worse because at least with this you could see it, you could treat it. Sometimes when people are dealing with trauma inside, no one can see it and touch it. It's something that's in their soul, their physical body. No doctor can handle it. Some psychiatrist can handle it.
And some people believe they don't even have it.
Exactly.
You see me like, oh, he's in bad shape, but the next person next to you could be going through it up here, and we don't look out. But mental health is so.
Do you
crucial.
believe this? And this is something that I believe. But do you believe that the real healing, the ingredients to the healing, the answers, the light, is not necessarily external, but always was inside in the beginning?
Absolutely.
And it's just a matter of unlayering to find it versus looking out here in the world to find it. Do you think that?
Oh, without a doubt. Like I said, we from the bottom. We just got the fight in us. We got it. Like that's just our environment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely just in me. And I like that word, unlayering. You gotta I don't want to say take away the depression, because I don't know if it always go away, but you gotta move it out the way, you know what I'm saying? Or you gotta get over that, the anxiety, the body difference, like you looking at yourself like, damn, like what's going on? Like, and I thank my wife again, because she kept reassuring me. She's like, you ain't lost no sexy, like none, you know what I mean?
That's what's up.
And it just, cause that was one of my hugest fears. I'm like, she not even going like vibe, like my tear ducts just start percolating just thinking of that. Cause I was like, she not even going to vibe with me no more. Yeah. And she like she's in love, and the strength is even more attractive. Woman? Yes, sir.
Shout out to the strong black woman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm glad that you came a long way. I'm glad that you see it like that, and I'm glad that we talking about going through depression, because through is a specific keyword. Yeah. You don't stay there.
Right.
You go through it, and you don't avoid it. You don't numb it. You face it. Mm-hmm. And that really is the wealth. That really is the important thing about human beings, is how they overcome it. Pretty much.
Right. Absolutely.
So
I like a quote that says, "It's not what happens, it's how you deal with it that really matters." So, and I think that's key. But everybody don't have the tools. Everybody don't have the resources and support to deal with things. But that's what needs to, this show is laying out that groundwork, man.
And this platform is a real, platform. Like, we just have this conversation, because I feel like a lot of the times when people do podcasts and stuff, they just, I don't know. I can't speak for other people, but for me, it's just about having real, raw discussions and having people listen. And it's hard to get people to listen, because everybody's so fast. Oh, it's too long.
There's too many things going on.
Yeah, but at the same time, when life hits you, it's these type of situations and platforms that you go looking for.
Right.
So I always tell people, when it's the right time, you'll go looking, and when you go looking, hopefully you'll find this. Mm-hmm. So this is Overcoming Trauma, episode 2, the Matchbook Podcast. Make sure you research him. I'll put his information on there. Make sure you, August 30th, 8 p.m. on my live, ARSIN 215, join in for my new album, Window, which discuss some trauma on there. Some of the inspirations behind the songs is related to some trauma I experienced. So once again, give them your name, give them your handle on Instagram if they want to follow you. Move up so they can hear you clear.
Definitely. Ty Duckett, you can catch me on Instagram. It's TY_SEEEN, 3 E's. Somebody took one with 2 E's. This is my name spelt phonetically. But yeah, holler at me on that. I'm trying to just parlay it into just what we doing here, man. Just trying to help people, be motivational, and bring people from that dark spot, into the light.
I appreciate you for coming. You drove from over there, right? 40 hours?
Yeah, because of this COVID. My wife was scared. We got a little baby boy. She was just nervous. So we road tripped. We got some family in the middle of the country, some family in Georgia. So
so it was important for me to do this in person. My podcasts are about being in person, so you can see us have that actual genuine conversation. So it's the Matchbook Podcast, Overcoming Trauma, episode 2, part 1. Make sure you follow us, ARSIN Movement, Fire Family. Subscribe on YouTube, share this story, and stay tuned. Peace.
Okay, bet. I came to rap to the death. Yeah, let me do my step. I turn around, lift up the ground. I got my team, yeah, you know what's going down. I'm stepping out, I'm stepping out, I'm stepping out. Had to get up off the house. I'm stepping out, I'm stepping out. I got my team, yeah, you know what we about. Keep stepping. Yeah, I'm stepping, and you know I'm repping. On the map now, track down, GPSing my fist. The only thing that's leaving the impression off the top, so it's only pending if you're requesting. Accepting invitations, I step out on all occasions. I